All right, it is time for the college football week 13 under the radar picks against the spread. That's right. Let's not waste time. It's winning cures everything. Let's get to it. I'm your host, Gary Seegers. I'm at Gary WCE on all the different socials. X is where I am most active, you could say. So go ahead and follow me over there if you would. Also, these are the games that we did not discuss on the BetUS college football show. So, go ahead and check that out if you would so kindly. We went over 18 games this week, 17 games, and we do Q&A on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. But it's Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeah, make sure that you are subscribed. There's a link in the description. Okay, let's get to it. Let's not waste time. We are trying to get to each and every game that we can from the Saturday slate. We'll start off game number 1 here. Set our timer because we're trying to roll through them quick. Right? Miami hosts Wake Forest. Miami is a 24.5 point home favorite. Total of 64.5 on this one. And as you can see, there's a lot of green on the Miami side. There's a lot of red on the Wake Forest side. Miami, number 8 in special teams efficiency. They are number 29 in turnover margin compared to Wake Forest, number 101. And when you look at red zone conversion percentage, red zone appearances per game, like all that kind of stuff, everything leans Miami on this. Miami's defense, number 70 in PPA allowed per rush. So that is something that Wake Forest maybe could take advantage of. The issue is that Wake Forest is number 98 in that metric on offense. As far as the Wake Forest passing game, they're number 65 in PPA per pass, number 73 in yards per attempt, number 90 in QBR. Hank Bachmeier is going to play this weekend, by the way. But the Miami defense is number 57, number 22, and number 27 in those metrics. They are really good. Teams have to throw a lot on Miami because Miami typically gets up early. As you can see here, their first half point margin, number 28 in the country. Wake Forest is number 98 in first half point margin. Miami is actually number 1 in the country in second half point margin. So second half bets typically work best for this Miami team. You look at this, I know that it's a pressure cooker situation for the Canes, but they are at home in this situation. I don't think you got to think too much. My number on this is Miami minus 29, almost 30. Based on the last 4 weeks, it's Miami minus almost 25 points. I know it's 24.5, but I don't trust Wake Forest to be able to score. So we're going to take Miami minus the 24.5 on that one. All right, we continue on. And SMU. SMU is heading to Virginia. This thing opened at 10.5. Right now, it is sitting at 9.5. So Virginia, a 9.5 point home dog. Currently, total of 57.5 on this. And let's look at the numbers. I've got SMU favored by 16. My stats-based model from the last 4 weeks has SMU minus 18. My total is way lower here, 53.7 on this. So, but most of that has to do with SMU's defense, which, as you can see, is really, really good. They're number 9 in PPA allowed per drive on defense. That's PPA, predicted points added. Virginia, their advanced metrics are not great. They're number 108 in PPA margin on the season. They're number 86 per drive, number 110 per drive on defense. SMU is better at everything. They're number 10 in predicted points added margin, number 32 on offensive per drive, number 9 on defensive per drive. You start looking at success rate, that all skews SMU, etc. But look, this Virginia team is 6-3-1 against the spread this year. They routinely overperform what the numbers say that they should. Their advanced metrics are not good. And if you just look at efficiency numbers overall, 5 factors plus talent has got SMU ranked number 14, and it's got Wake Forest number 77. Not Wake Forest, excuse me, Virginia. Good gracious. I'm going to get this straight. Special teams efficiency, that leans towards Virginia. Talent is SMU. Turnover margin is SMU. Penalties. Penalty yards per game, number 42 for Virginia, number 77 for SMU. So I look at this, I think this is a pressure cooker kind of situation. I wish that this thing was at double digits, and there's not a book out there right now that's got double digits on it. But I'm going to, in this spot, I'm going Virginia. I'm going against my numbers. SMU did not look like they knew what to do with Boston College. I think Virginia at home, I think this is a spot where Virginia can hang in here, make this thing really, really uncomfortable for SMU, because SMU is trying to finish undefeated so they can go to the ACC title game. So yes, we're taking Virginia plus the 9.5 on this. All right, we carry on. We're moving to the Big Ten. Rutgers is hosting Illinois. Right now, Rutgers a 1.5 point home dog, total of 48.5 on this one. And as you can see, these two teams, Illinois number 25 in strength of record, Rutgers is number 50. You start looking at against the spread, all that kind of stuff. Illinois 6-3-1 against the spread. They are 7-3 on the season. Rutgers is 6-4. They're going to a bowl game, but they are 5-4-1 against the spread thus far on the season. So you look at this Rutgers offense. Kaliak Manis, the quarterback, number 86 in PPA per pass, number 84 in yards per attempt, and only number 103 in QBR. That's something that Illinois has actually defended fairly well this year. Rutgers has got Kyle Monangai back. That's something to pay attention to because they're just not very good at running the ball without him. They're not great with him, but they're not great without him for sure. Really not even good without him. So number 104 in PPA per rush. Illinois' defense, number 109 in PPA per rush. The thing to pay attention to here is Illinois, number 133 in offensive line yards allowed, number 133 in stuff rate. But I don't know that Rutgers' offensive line is good enough to take advantage of that. So the Illinois defense is good at stopping drives. They don't allow you to get a lot of points, but they do allow you to get inside their 40-yard line a lot. They're number 133 in scoring opportunities allowed per game. But they're number 37 in points per scoring opportunity. Rutgers gets down there a lot. They're number 33 in scoring ops per game. So they get inside the opponent 40 frequently, but they don't put up a ton of points. Number 75, they only put up 3.82 points per drive inside the opponent 40. On the other side, Illinois' offense, the thing that Rutgers does best is they defend the pass. Number 46 in PPA per pass allowed, number 51 in yards per attempt. Illinois is number 20 and number 54 in those metrics. So Luke Wildmeyer's done a pretty good job. The issue for them might be that they might not be able to protect him. They're number 122 in havoc allowed. But Rutgers is not great at getting after the quarterback. They're number 87. Illinois has not been great running the ball. They're number 72 in PPA per rush. Rutgers is number 126 at defending the run. That's not great. So Illinois certainly could take advantage of several things here. You're looking at number 61 and number 43 in 5 factors plus talent rank. We're rolling Illinois here. There's a 1 out there. I believe DK has got it. We'll take Illinois to cover the 1 on this one. All right, continuing on, moving to game at number 4, Maryland hosting Iowa. Currently, Iowa is a 6.5 point road favorite here. Total of 45.5. Iowa's going to be without Sullivan at quarterback. They could be without McNamara at quarterback. There's another quarterback that's injured. And honestly, my numbers all say that you should take Iowa here because Maryland has not played very good as of late. My last 4 weeks number has got Iowa almost 30. 30? Iowa? I mean, just ridiculous. But the full season has got Iowa by 11.5. How much is it worth to Iowa to not have a quarterback, right? I get the feeling, like in special teams efficiency, Iowa is significantly better. Turnover margin, penalties per game. I mean, penalties per game, Iowa's number 1. They're number 1 in the country in penalty yards per game. There's all sorts of things that lean Iowa here. But without the quarterback, the best part about this Maryland defense, they're number 21 in PPA allowed per rush, number 31 in yards per rush allowed. They're number 59 in rush success allowed. So the thing that Iowa's going to have to lean on is the thing that Maryland is best at defending. The number hasn't moved. We're going to go with Maryland. Give me Maryland plus 6.5 on this one. All right. To the ACC we go. Boston College is hosting North Carolina. North Carolina currently a 2.5 point road favorite, total of 56.5 on this one. And, this is an interesting ball game. because my number on this has North Carolina favored by 4. BC is, the last 4 weeks, I've got them favored by like 11.5 in this spot. That last 4 weeks model is so volatile. So volatile. PPA margin, North Carolina is number 52 overall. BC is number 75. But, of course, North Carolina's strength of schedule thus far, number 93. It is what it is. Strength of record, these two teams are almost identical, 61 and 64. I look at this, and the special teams efficiency certainly makes me wary of Boston College. They're number 128 in special teams. It's not that North Carolina is significantly better. They're number 82. But just, when you're number 128, things have gone wrong basically all year. BC better in turnovers, but not great. Penalties per game, BC significantly higher, significantly better. You start looking at points per scoring opportunity. Both of those things, BC is better on offense. North Carolina is better when they're on offense. So it's both teams have an advantage when they are on offense. The thing that North Carolina wants to do the most, they want to run the ball. They are number 14 in PPA per rush. They run the ball 54% of the time. BC, that's what they're best at defending. They're number 37 in PPA allowed per rush. Curious about Grayson James, what he's going to look like against this North Carolina defense. North Carolina's defense, pretty good at defending the pass. That's what Grayson James does. So I think that North Carolina is the more talented team. I know that they're going on the road here, but North Carolina's kind of been rolling here a little bit lately. I'm going to take them to cover the 2.5 on this one. All right. I got to tell you, go Sleeves. GoSleeves.com/WCE, the best kinesiology technology on the market. It's the best compression sleeves out there. If you are older and your joints are hurting and all that, these are the guys. They got compression socks, they got shirts, they got sleeves, they got everything. They got gels, they got all kind of stuff that's going to make you feel better. So do yourself a favor, go check out GoSleeves.com/WCE. It's going to get you 15% off of your order. Also, if you like the stat sheets that we're doing here, of course, check out bettingcfb.com. That is my subscription site. $5 a month, $50 for the year. I do a ton of off-season content. We talk futures. We talk about the state of the sport itself. We talk news. We talk everything over there. As of right now, during the season, it is incredibly stats-driven. Once we get into the offseason, it's a little bit different story. So we move to our next game. Texas hosting Kentucky. 20.5-point favorites here for the Longhorns. 46.5 is our total on this. So we've got a lower total with a really big point spread. Texas looking ahead to next week. And now Kentucky, you could say they're looking ahead to next week as well. But Texas is in the CFP hunt. Kentucky's just trying to get to bowl eligibility. I don't think they're going to get there, but they have to win this week and next week. Probably not going to happen, but they can at least put up a fight. So on this, you're looking at a couple of different things. Texas hasn't really played a lot of great defenses. The ones that they did, Georgia, they got smashed by, right? Michigan kind of made them a little wary. If Oklahoma hadn't made so many issues on offense, if they hadn't done so many things wrong on offense, they probably could have hung in that ballgame. PPA margin, Texas number 8, Kentucky number 88. There's not a lot of numbers that are going to tell you to take Kentucky here. Texas, I've got favored by 26 based on the last 4 weeks. I've got Texas by 22, but I'm going to roll with Kentucky. And there's a 21 at DK right now. I'm going to take Kentucky plus the 21, and here's why. This is a look-ahead spot. This is one of the better defenses that Texas has played. What does Texas gain by scoring a ton of points, all that? Like, this is not Florida with a third-string quarterback kind of thing. This is a Kentucky team that has shown that they rise to the level of competition. I'm going to trust that. I'm going to trust Mark Stoops. I know that they haven't been good very much this year, but go and look at what they've done against Ole Miss, against Georgia, teams like that. They put up a fight in these big games, And interesting thing, Kentucky, this is the furthest west game they have ever played. What are we doing out here, Wildcats? All right, Kentucky plus 21 on that one. Over to the Big Ten. Minnesota hosts Penn State, and this one is tricky, very tricky. 11.5 is our point spread here. Penn State favored on the road. Total of 45.5 on this one. PPA margin, Penn State number 9, Minnesota number 33. This Minnesota offense leaves a lot to be desired. I think that's the easiest way to say it. Brosmer has been okay. Their rushing has not been great. They're number 61 in predicted points added per rush. Obviously, when you've got Taylor back at running back, he can break some big stuff. However, they were number 112 in yards per rush, number 116 in rush rate, so they only run the ball 41% of the time. They trust Brosmer a lot. This is one of those weird spots, right? Penn State should, deck these guys. Penn State, I've got favored by 12 on the season. Based on the last 4 weeks of stats, I've got Penn State favored by 21. Penn State went, they covered at Wisconsin, et cetera, et cetera. But there's something real flecky about this game, as Parker would say. Something stinks here. I don't know exactly what it is. This Minnesota defense with Heatherman at defense coordinator, they're really good. Number 32 in offensive line yards allowed. They're number 24 in PPA allowed per rush. Number 40 in yards per rush allowed. All these different things. And they're pretty good against the pass as well. And it just kind of depends on how much you trust Drew Aller. I don't know that I trust him a lot. So you look at 5 factors plus talent, you're looking at number 39 and number 5. You got the home field advantage. Minneapolis at night, or not at night. It'll be at night when the game ends. This is 2:30 kickoff, God's time zone. But yeah, when I look at this, I'm going Minnesota. Yeah, I feel like that's the smarter route here. So we're going to go with the Golden Gophers to keep this thing relatively close. I might regret that, but we'll see. Staying in the Big Ten, and we've got Nebraska hosting Wisconsin. Both teams need a win in order to get bowl eligibility. And Nebraska, a 2.5 point home favorite, total of 42.5. Just a heartbreaking loss for both of these teams last week. But the more heartbreaking one was Wisconsin. They were at home. They had the number 1 team on the ropes, and they just couldn't do anything with it. Just could not do it. My number on this has Nebraska favored by about half a point, a little more than half a point. Based on the last 4 weeks, it would have Wisconsin favored by 1.2-ish. So Wisconsin favored by a point. And yet we've got Nebraska by 2.5. Dana Holgorsen is the new offensive coordinator, so the numbers don't exactly match what he would be doing. But number 98 in PPA per pass, number 95 in yards per pass attempt, number 100 in QBR. Wisconsin's defense actually pretty good at defending that. 53, 32, and 44 in those metrics, as you can see right there. You start looking at some other stuff. Nebraska not very good on special teams, number 119. That's one of the many reasons why they have lost so many one-possession games in a row. I think it's 9 straight after last week. It's bad. It's just bad. Wisconsin, on the other hand, the thing they do best right now, of course, they fired their offensive coordinator for the Longo. The thing that they do best is they run the ball. Number 50 in PPA per rush, number 62 in yards per rush. Well, that is what Nebraska likes to defend on defense. Number 46 in PPA allowed per rush, and number 25 in yards per rush allowed. So it seems like this thing kind of sets up for Nebraska. I'm going to trust the Cornhuskers here to get this thing done. I think that they win this. I think they go to a bowl game. I think they will be celebrating like crazy. Wisconsin has some things to figure out, and I think this is a huge letdown spot for Wisconsin after last week. We carry on to the Big 12. Texas Tech. They're going on the road to face a really bad Oklahoma State team. Oklahoma State right now 3-7 on the season. They are winless in the Big 12. Winless. Won all their non-conference games. Hadn't won a single conference game. They're 3-7 against the spread. Texas Tech 6-4 on the season. They felt like they were going to be a little bit better. But this is certainly a spot where they can get right. My number has Texas Tech favored by almost 2.5. The spread based on the last 4 weeks of stats is Oklahoma State minus almost 2 points. I don't know what to tell you. I'm as shocked as you are. This is mind-blowing, if you will. I look at this, and none of it makes any kind of sense. I know that Oklahoma State likes to throw the ball around. They throw the ball 57% of the time. They're number 21 in PPA per pass. They're not super explosive throwing the ball. They cannot run the ball with Ollie Gordon. It just is not working. They're number 107 in PPA per rush. Texas Tech's defense is at least somewhat decent at stopping that, but they seem to not be able to stop anybody throwing the ball. Special teams efficiency, that favors Texas Tech. Turnover margin, penalties, all that kind of stuff. Not a huge gap as far as turnover margin. Penalties per game, that's different. Texas Tech, not good at that. But Oklahoma State, I mean, they're number 9 in penalty yardage per game. Like, it has not helped them. I know that this defense for Oklahoma State has been dreadful, and we know that Texas Tech can put up points. I'm wary of the fact that the number has not moved a lot. Kind of thought there'd be a lot more people on Texas Tech here, but I'm going to buy right into it. There is a 2.5 out there. Pretty much everywhere. No, there's not. There's a 3.5. It's only 3.5. All right, Texas Tech by 3.5. I'll lay it with the Red Raiders. That's what we'll do here. All right, game at number 10. UCF goes to Morgantown, West Virginia, and the Mountaineers are currently a 2.5. Let me double check that. 2.5 point home dog. What are we talking about? UCF, their numbers, they are 4-6 on the season. West Virginia needs a win to get to a bowl game. Honestly, both of these do. That's not going to change anything. Okay. So, the UCF defense, pretty good at defending the thing that West Virginia wants to do. So whoever wins that battle, offensive line yards, stuff rate, etc., UCF has been better at those things. As far as West Virginia throwing the ball, they only throw it 43% of the time. They're not great when they do it, but that is the weakness of the UCF defense. So you might want to take a few more shots. They are number 18 in passing explosiveness. Is that number right? I guess it is right. Number 18 in passing explosiveness, and UCF is number 98. So, on the other side, when UCF has the ball, as bad as they have been, they are still really good at running the ball. Number 6 in PPA per rush. They are number 4 in yards per rush, number 11 in rush rate, number 6 in rushing success rate. They're awesome. Their offensive line does a good job. They're number 3 in offensive line yards, number 22 in stuff rate allowed. West Virginia is better at defending the run than they are the pass. So just something to keep in mind. I don't like the idea of West Virginia losing 2 straight home games, especially when they need a win to go to a bowl game. So we'll make this one easy. My number's got West Virginia favored by 3 based on the last 4 weeks. It's got West Virginia favored by 4.5. We're taking West Virginia, and there is a 3 out there. So West Virginia plus 3, I believe that's BetMGM, if I'm not mistaken. But there's a couple of spots where you can get a 3. All right, very quickly. Tickets are expensive, and you already know this because you have listened to this show before, I guarantee. Ticketsmarter.com is where you need to go. It's the best ticketing third-party vendor on the market. They are fantastic. I'm telling you, they're awesome. Ticketsmarter, you can save money every single time. Their customer support is really, really good, but you can save money. Save money. Because you're wanting to go to shows. You're wanting to go to big games. You want to go to concerts. So, do all that, but just save money when you do it. WCE 10, that's going to get you $10 off an order of $100 or more. WCE 20 is going to get you $20 off an order of $300 or more. Use the promo code every single time. It's not a one-time sign-up bonus. Every time you want to buy tickets, you can save money. So go ahead and do that at Ticketsmarter.com or the Ticketsmarter mobile app. Think smarter with Ticketsmarter. If you've not already, subscribe to the channel and like the video. That would certainly help things out. That little thumbs up button right there, you see it. You see what I'm talking about. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for sure. That helps me out tremendously. It's a one-man operation here. Very easy. Like I said at the beginning, these are all the games that we did not discuss on the BetUS College Football Show. So make sure you are subscribed there. There's links in the description. It's every Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on the BetUS College Football Show. We carry on to game number 11. And Pitt going to Louisville. Louisville favored by 7.5 right now. 56.5 is our total. And this one is tricky. Very tricky. And the reason why I say that is because my numbers typically really love Pitt. This week, they're not as in on them. I think I might be. But we'll see. We'll see. This Pitt defense is coming around. They're looking better. Things are interesting, to say the least, with them. They're number 48 in PPA allowed per pass. They're number 19 in PPA allowed per rush. Louisville likes to throw the ball a lot. Louisville's number 16. Tyler Shuck has been really good this year. But they're number 16 in PPA per pass. They're number 37 in PPA per rush. So, something to pay attention to there. Special teams efficiency, Pitt is significantly better. Number 11 right there. And Louisville is number 114. So, Louisville's just not good at the special teams thing. The Louisville defense, they can get got. Okay, number 87 PPA per pass. They're number 81 in QBR allowed. Pitt has not been great at this, and Eli Holstein not being able to play much or not being 100%, et cetera, that's not a good thing. Nate Yarnell did look pretty good against Clemson last week, but Louisville, slightly different machine. Now, the reason that I'm going to go Pitt here, Louisville is number 23 in 5 factors plus talent, Pitt number 33. So efficiency-wise, these two teams are very similar, very, very similar. I don't know what's going on with my camera. Keeps locking. We'll see how that goes. Louisville went out to Stanford and got beat. Like, make it make sense. Now you got to come back home. I don't like that. I don't like all that travel, all that. Pitt was close. It was a heartbreaker. But I think, looking at the number, there is an 8 out there, by the way, at Caesars. So there is an 8 at the time that we were recording this. So do yourself a favor, and if you like Pitt the same way that I do, because I think these two teams are fairly similar, fairly evenly matched, I will take Pitt to cover the 8 on this. All right, continuing on, and we're moving to game number 12. To the Mountain West we go. Boise State traveling to Laramie, Wyoming. Again, tricky because Boise, their strength of record is number 15. And I just am shocked because their strength of schedule is number 76. So I'm just, what could you do against this I don't know. But regardless, maybe they really are better than we thought they were. So, Boise, number 12 in PPA margin. Wyoming is number 127. Wyoming has looked a little bit better as of late, but my number on this has Boise by almost 24 points. Last 4 weeks spread has got Boise by nearly 22 points, so it's right around where the spread is. I looked for a best number. There's not a best number out there. It's just 22.5 across the board. It just is. This is where the problem lies for Wyoming. Normally, they are really good at defending against Boise at home. Wyoming, though, is 2-8 straight up on the season. They are 4-6 against the spread. Boise is 9-1. Wyoming has not been good. I know that they fixed some things, at least with their offense. The defense is just allowing points like gangbusters. Boise's going to take advantage of that. Boise, number 5 in PPA per rush. Wyoming is number 114 in that metric on defense. Boise, number 5 in PPA per pass. Maddox Madsen is doing big things, throwing the ball. Wyoming, number 91. Like, there's no real advantage anywhere for Wyoming. And Boise, I think that they understand, like, hey, we have a shot at getting one of these buys in the CFP. If we're going to do that, like, Boise is the perfect team that would need one of those buys, right? So they want that buy. They're going to continue to pour on points. We'll take Boise to cover the 22.5 here. Moving along to the Big 12. Houston hosts Baylor. Baylor, a 7.5 point favorite currently. Total of, is that number? Where is Oh, we done moved it around. Hold on. This is not what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Let's move that up. I don't know what that was about. Okay, swapping. Let's change it up. Oregon State is hosting Washington State. This is not the Big 12. This is the Pac-12, the Pac-2, whatever it is right now. These are effectively independents because even if they win, I mean, this is the championship game. Even if they win, they can't make the playoff. So it is what it is. Oregon State is a 13.5-point home dog here. Total of 56.5. That's only at the major sports book. Everywhere else, this number is 12.5. So regardless, we're going to say 13.5. Washington State got beat last week. That's not what you want when you're going into Corvallis, obviously. But man, you start digging this, and it's a whole different deal. Oregon State pretty good at running the ball. Washington State's defense pretty terrible, to say the least. Number 129 in PPA allowed per rush. Oregon State runs the ball the 24th most in the country, 57.44%. On the other side, it's kind of the same thing. Oregon State's defense just can't stop anybody. Washington State can't stop the run. Oregon State can't stop the run or the pass. This Washington State team, I think, is going to come out just gangbusters. Points per opportunity for Washington State, number 18 nationally. They finish drives. They're good at it. Oregon State, number 119. They can't stop people from finishing drives. The efficiency metric is like way, way different. 5 factors plus talent. It's got Washington State at number 36. It's got Oregon State at number 112. Oregon State feels like they might just want the season to be over. Washington State, I think, is curious about getting a good bowl game. They want to show that we deserve to be in a bigger league. Oregon State, shell of its former self. We're not going to make this crazy. Washington State, we're going to lay it with a 12.5 on them. Okay, now we move to the Big 12. Houston is, of course, hosting Baylor. Baylor is a 7.5-point favorite with a total of 50.5 on this. Houston looked putrid last week, and they had been kind of rolling. They had covered. This Houston team beat Kansas State, and then they go on the road to an Arizona team that had lost 5 in a row and just looked like they did not want to be anywhere, and they got shellacked. It was like 27-3. They could not score on that terrible, terrible Arizona defense. Now, they're back home, but this offense just has problems. They're number 133 on the season in predicted points added per drive. Their defense is pretty good, but again, I kind of trust Baylor more to be able to stay ahead of the chains, etc. Standard downs PPA, standard down success rate, all this. Baylor, number 42, number 31 there. Houston is number 49 in standard down PPA allowed. They're number 12 in standard down success rate allowed on defense. It didn't matter last week because if you can't score, you get put in bad situations, and that's why you end up with 5 factors plus talent rankings of number 27 for Baylor and number 103 for Houston. I am so out on this Houston team again. I was up on them last week because I felt like Zion Chris and that offense had kind of figured some things out. But as you see here, I've got Baylor favored by 11.5 for the full season. Based on the last 4 weeks, I've got Baylor by 22. I think Dave Aranda and Jake Spavital have got this thing figured out. I like Sawyer Robertson. I will take Baylor minus the 7.5 on that one. All right, we move to game at number 15 here. Let's talk some SEC. Texas A&M heads to Auburn. Auburn is a 2.5-point home dog here. Total of 46.5 on this one thus far. My number has A&M by 6.5. My spread based on the last 4 weeks of stats has got A&M minus 14. Auburn, number 17 in PPA margin. A&M is number 34 on the season. So why would my numbers have A&M favored here? Well, let's start taking a look at some of these. A&M runs more plays. That's part of it. A&M better on special teams efficiency. They're number 10 to number 84. Points per play margin. A&M is better. Turnover margin, significant advantage for A&M, right? Number 32 in turnover margin, number 27 in giveaways per game. Auburn is number 127 in turnover margin. They're number 120 in giveaways, number 124 in takeaways. So that not only do they turn the ball over a lot, they don't generate enough turnovers themselves. Their down-to-down stuff looks fairly decent aside from the turnovers and whatnot, right? Like, that's the problem. Number 45 in PPA per pass on offense. Number 58 PPA per rush on offense for Auburn. A&M's defense, like, here's where I think the issue is going to become a problem. A&M is number 8 in havoc rate. Auburn's offense, number 90. They're number 114 in passing explosiveness. You create enough havoc, you get after that quarterback, whether it's Peyton Thorne or Hank Brown or whoever it might be, they're going to throw the ball to the wrong team. It's going to happen. So while a lot of people look at this and say A&M is headed, they're playing at home next week against Texas, bringing the rivalry back, they're going to be focused on that instead. I don't think it necessarily matters because I think that defensive line is going to feast on this Auburn offensive line. So we're not going to spend long on this one. A&M covering the 2.5. I can't trust Auburn, and I don't know how anybody else could either. All right. If you want to support the show, you can do that. You go to winningcureseverything.com. You go to the web store. Yeah, the web store. That's right. And there are all kind of shirts and mouse pads and aprons. Yeah, if you feel like cooking, your chef's apron, that kind of stuff. We got all those as well. But check it out. winningcureseverything.com/store, or just go to winningcureseverything.com. Very easy to do. You can also support the show by subscribing and liking. That helps out tremendously as well, and leaving a 5-star review on the podcast. Also, bettingcfb.com. I already brought it up once, but that's where all these stat profiles come from. I post them up there on Sunday nights. Mostly Sunday nights. So I highly recommend that you check those out for the rest of the season. But bettingcfb.com will carry on with a ton of bonus content, members-only stuff. It's a fun community. Hopefully you'll come over and be a part of it. Don't forget about 3 Dog Thursday on Thursday with old TJ Reeves. That's right. He's done a fantastic job with that thing. I'm not able to be on there as much here lately, but yes, I highly recommend that you check out TJ on that show. All right, we got 5 more games to hit. Let's see what we can do. All right, moving along. There we go. We're moving to the Big 12. Yeah, the Big 12. Back to the Big 12. Anyway, Utah hosts Iowa State. Iowa State is a 7.5-point road favorite. Total of 42.5 on this one. My number has Iowa State favored by 5.7. Based on the last 4 weeks of stats, so the most recent stuff, it's got Iowa State minus 7.5. Yeah. My total, I've got it going over. I don't know how that's going to be possible because Utah's offense is blah. But, we look at it. Utah number 118 in PPA per drive on offense. They are number 118 PPA per play. Number 122 in offensive success rate. Iowa State's defense is not great, right? So John Heacock is the guy. Their number's 78 in defensive success rate allowed. They're not great at stopping the run. So maybe Utah's got a fighting chance here. They're great at defending the pass. Number 38 in passing success rate allowed. Number 14 in PPA allowed per pass. Number 6 in yards allowed per attempt. But I don't know that they face like a ton of... how about this? They're really good at defending bad quarterbacks. And in Utah, it appears has one of those. I think that's the easiest way to say it. Special teams efficiency, not a huge edge here. Turnover margin, definitely a huge edge for Iowa State on this. Penalties per game, pretty even. The Utah defense is still good. They're still really good. Now, granted, when you're going up against playmakers like Colorado had, well, that's a different story. But Utah is at home. They are 4-6. I can't tell you the last time they missed a bowl game. I think they're going to have some fight here. So while Iowa State certainly is the better team, I think 7.5 points might be too much. So I'm going to take Utah to cover the 7.5 on this one. All right, we move to game number 17. We're going back to the SEC. We're going back to an earlier game. Missouri heading to Starkville, Stark Vegas. Mississippi State is currently a 7.5-point home underdog. And oh boy, total of 57.5 here. This is, my number has Missouri by 13.76. You see right in the middle here. My spread based on the last 4 weeks has got Missouri by 11.5. Why is this number so low? I can't tell you. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Missouri's got Arkansas next week. I know Missouri's coming off of a loss, but Brady Cook is back playing. He looked pretty good last week. They were able to make some pretty explosive plays. Mississippi State has covered some bigger numbers. They're 6-4 against the spread. So this is one of those lines that kind of makes you think. Missouri is 6-4 against the spread as well, but this is a 7-3 football team. State has been able to stay in games against teams that did not take them seriously. I think Missouri is going to take them seriously. Missouri's going to be on the road. Eli kind of likes to smash teams that he can. You look at first half point margin, obviously not good. Missouri is number 79 there. Mississippi State's number 128. I think Missouri could come out, kind of light these guys up, kind of coast to an easy win, but I think they win by double digits. So I don't think there's any reason for us to break down a whole lot of this. Missouri just the significantly more efficient team. We'll say that. So the best number I could get was Missouri 7.5. So I will take the Tigers to cover 7.5 in Starkville. Staying in the SEC, we're going down to Baton Rouge. That's right. LSU, a 7.5-point home favorite over the Vanderbilt Commodores. And the total on this is 53.5. And what do you say about LSU at this point? Strength of record, you got LSU number 20. You got Vandy number 26. Strength of schedule is pretty even. Power rating is not terribly far off. But how many people are going to be there? My number on this is LSU minus 7.34. Spread based on the last 4 weeks, just the recent stuff, has Vandy favored by 5. The Vanderbilt defense is not good at defending the pass. We know that. Number 111 in PPA allowed per pass. LSU is number 44 in that metric. But man, Havoc, Vandy can kind of get after the quarterback a little bit. They're number 47 in Havoc rate created. LSU number 31 in Havoc allowed. You got some offensive line injuries for LSU. You got some bickering. I think that's the easiest way to say it. Some things maybe not going so well between the roster and the coach. Vandy has fallen off a little bit. They're not able to run the ball all that well, but they can throw the ball. They're number 17 in PPA per pass, number 38 in yards per attempt. LSU not really good at defending much of anything as of right now. 5 factors plus talent. LSU number 24, Vandy number 37. Special teams, Vandy number 5, LSU number 47. Normally, a night game in Tiger Stadium, it's 100%. We're laying it with LSU, especially against an opponent that is outclassed in this situation. LSU is number 9 in 247 talent composite. Vandy is number 50. But if you ain't got team chemistry, it don't matter. We're going with Vanderbilt. So give me Vandy plus 7.5 here. I can't trust anything LSU's doing right now. This team legitimately might end the season 6-6 after starting 6-2 or 6-1, I guess it was. Not going to be happy trails or happy times for Brian Kelly because they can't afford to buy him out. Jeez, these contracts are bananas. All right, 2 more games. Duke. The Blue Devils are hosting the Virginia Tech Hokies, and Virginia Tech currently a 3.5-point road favorite here. Total of 47.5 on this one. I like the under. I'm going to tell you that, and my number likes that as well, but still, here we go. My number on this has Duke by 1.5. Stats-based last 4 weeks model has Duke by 0.2 points. The Virginia Tech defense is really good, and the Duke offense has been not good basically all year, but they run a lot of plays. They are very high tempo. Virginia Tech, on the other hand, not high tempo. The only thing they do well is run the ball. Duke is good at defending all of that. This Duke defense, number 12 in the country in PPA allowed per drive. The Virginia Tech defense, number 23 in PPA allowed per drive. Duke being at home, they're 7-3. This team understands how to win ball games. They're 6-3 against 6-3-1 against the spread. Virginia Tech, they're not super efficient. You're looking at number 40 in 5 factors plus talent rank for Duke, number 48 for Virginia Tech, and this thing is in Durham. Yeah, I think maybe somebody's overthinking this just a little bit. Virginia Tech has just found ways to shoot themselves in the foot over and over and over again this year. I think it continues. We will take the Blue Devils plus 3.5. All right, last game of the evening for us, the Mountain West. Colorado State heading to Fresno. Fresno currently a 2.5-point favorite with a total of 46.5. That number has come down a little bit. Fresno is no longer good on offense. Number 112 in offensive PPA per drive. They're a little bit better at passing the ball, which, of course, Mikey Keene. Last year, he was like the second coming of Drew Brees in some of those games, but that was with Jeff Tedford as the head coach. Tim Skipper is the guy now, and Fresno is sitting at 5-5. They need to win to get to a bowl game. Colorado State is 8-2 against the spread, and they are undefeated in Mountain West play. This team has really picked it up. I know they lost Horton, the wide receiver, but I almost think that they've played better without him. Now, they might have continued to play better without him, no matter what. Still, looking at this, the defense for Colorado State is actually pretty good. They're better at defending the run. Fresno doesn't exactly run it a lot, but they're okay against the pass. They're not awful. They're number 43 in havoc rate. Fresno 37 at defending it, but this is one of those spots where you can get after the quarterback just a little bit. Really disrupt some things for them. On offense, Colorado State, they're not great at anything on offense. They're number 92 in offensive PPA per drive, predicted points added per drive. They're better at throwing the ball. Number 33 in PPA per pass. Now, Fresno is better at defending the pass. They're number 12 in PPA per pass. This is a game where you got to look at it and just say, okay, who's the team that's been playing better? Who is the better team overall? That's Colorado State. Fresno has not been very good this year. Fresno is certainly more explosive, all that. I know that this is likely the best team that Colorado State has played in conference. I know they played Texas and whoever outside, Colorado. But that's in non-con. In conference, yeah, this is probably the best team. What does that tell you? These schedules are weird, man. These schedules are weird. I'm going with the team that's been better. My number thinks Colorado State should be favored. We're going to stick with that. Let's go Colorado State. Plus the 2.5. Nope. DraftKings. Sorry. DK. No free ads. DK's got a 3 out there. So we'll take Colorado State plus the 3 on this one. All right. Let's go ahead and recap this bad boy. We got this thing under 50 minutes. That ain't too shabby. We're going to take Miami minus 24.5. We'll take Virginia plus 9.5. We'll take Illinois minus 1. Maryland plus 6.5. North Carolina minus 2.5. Then we have Go Sleeves. Then we'll do Kentucky plus 21. Minnesota plus 11.5. Nebraska minus 2.5. Texas Tech minus 3.5. West Virginia plus 3. We've got Pitt plus 8. Boise minus 22.5. Washington State minus 12.5. Baylor minus 7.5. Texas A&M minus 2.5. Then we've got TicketSmarter and the web store and bettingcfb.com. You guys know. Utah plus 7.5. Missouri minus 7.5. Vandy plus 7.5. Duke plus 3.5. And Colorado State plus 3. Subscribe to the channel. Like the show. Like the video. Whatever it is. Check out the BetUS College Football Show every Tuesday and Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Check out the bettingcfb.com that I just recently mentioned for all the different stat profiles and bonus audio. I'm about to put up some bonus podcasts this evening, so yeah, check those out because you'll be able to get those only over there. What else? Oh, 3 Dog Thursday coming up on Thursday. You guys know what's up? TJ does his thing. Very, very fun stuff. All right. that's going to wrap it up. You guys have been fantastic. I appreciate all of you for giving me a little bit of your time. You guys make it worth doing because I do have fun doing this. So hopefully you'll continue to watch along. With that said, take care of yourself. Take care of each other. God bless college football, and hopefully all of your tickets cash this week. Thanks for listening to Winning Cures Everything. Make sure and follow me on Twitter @GaryWCE. If you want to toss in a question, you can email me, Gary@winningcureseverything.com. Make sure and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.